live pictures from the U.S. Capitol. It show former President Jimmy Carter as he lies in state. People will be able to view the former president tonight and all day tomorrow. Mr. Carter made his final trip to Washington, D.C. this morning. Winter weather pushed back memorial services, but once he arrived, the former president traveled the same exact route he walked decades ago after becoming the 39th president. Mr. Carter's casket was then led into the U.S. Capitol, where House Speaker Mike Johnson and Vice President Kamala Harris delivered eulogies.
Whether he was in the White House or in his post-presidential years, as was discussed, President Carter was willing to roll up his own sleeves to serve and get the job done.
James Earl Carter, Jr. loved our country. He lived his faith, he served the people, and he left the world better than he found it.
Georgians who were not able to visit former President Carter as he lied in repose at the Carter Center had their chance to say goodbye today in Washington, D.C. Chief Investigator Brendan Keefe has more on the story.
An extraordinary life, a life celebrated in extraordinary fashion. Nearly half a century after Jimmy Carter became president, he returned to where it all began, the U.S. Capitol, where he was sworn in as president in 1977. And a life was celebrated, a century of service.
From Georgia to Washington, D.C., Jimmy Carter makes a final journey to the place where his presidency began, arriving at the steps of the U.S. Capitol with admirers from Georgia paying their respects.
I feel like this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for us to be able to see the only president from Georgia be put to rest, and we can be a little small part of that by watching the procession.
It just means a lot to be here and to see him and to pay him the respect that he's so deeply owed.
So you're not here for you, you're here for him.
Yeah, I think so. I'm also here for my mom. Like, my mom loves Jimmy Carter, and she just really instilled in me from a very young age how important he is and how much he meant to her.
It was 48 years ago this month when newly elected President Jimmy Carter walked from the Capitol to the White House, the first president in the modern era not to take a motorcade, to wear a suit instead of a tuxedo. It was about sending a message about Georgia sensibilities and a presidency for the people.
It's about an orientation, which is why long after leaving the presidency, he continued to be a world leader. Diseases have literally been eradicated all across the globe. Struggling democracies and the people therein have found their voice because of the work of Jimmy Carter. Long live his memory, and may we all continue to be inspired by his light.
The public was allowed to file past the body of Jimmy Carter all the way up until midnight tonight. At that point, they will start again in the morning. He will continue to lie in state in the rotunda of the U.S. Capitol before returning to Georgia on Thursday. In the nation's capital, Brendan Keefe, Atlanta News First investigates.
And right now on the Atlanta News First app, information on everything you need to know about Mr. Carter's memorial and funeral service. We've also got details regarding Thursday's National Day of Mourning for the 39th president.
And tonight, Congress